Hey everybody, I'm here with our bonus stories from the Budget newspaper, and I appreciate all of you tuning in. This one is from Louisville, Pennsylvania. Now this story was another horrific story that was on my news feed for a couple of days, and she's reporting that the funeral from last Wednesday of the mother and the 7 children who perished in that house explosion on Nittany Valley in Mill Hall were all closed caskets and all buried in one large grave. Who can imagine the heartache of such a loss? Surely to stand and firm such a huge battle, the dad, the husband, and a son needs the prayers of all of us loved ones to survive. Wow, that was a horrific story, and our prayers definitely go with that family. This one is from Free Union, Virginia. Now, sometimes I like a little history and a little knowledge in there. And he writes on May 4th, today, 400 years ago, in 1626, the Dutch bought Manhattan Island, the smallest of the New York City's boroughs, from the local American Indians for 60 guilders, $24. Roughly $1,150 today. The 2020 census calculated that 1,694,250 people reside on its 22.66 square miles. The island's residential property boasts the highest sales price per square foot of the United States, according to Wikipedia. Wow. Drayton, Ontario, Canada, from May 3rd. She says, I had my own things to work through this morning, and when I got to church, the couple driving behind me came over and said my back wheel was shaking so badly that they were afraid it would fall off before I got parked. A friend had put the summer tires on for me Saturday evening and thought everything was okay, but it obviously wasn't. I was pretty shook up, and to think what would have happened on the drive there. I have about a 20-minute drive. I wouldn't have had any idea what to do about the problem, but the Lord had it all planned out for me. We have 4 youth boys that work in a tire shop, and they were very eager to fix it for me, and they even took off the other 3 and put them back on to make sure that they were all okay. Once again, I was overwhelmed with how God cares for me, especially since I'm alone. I was also overwhelmed with how many church family helped me out again, and as they so often do. Signed, Martha. I love helping people out, don't you? Orville, Ohio, May 3rd. And I love quotes and sayings. Half of our troubles come from wanting our own way. The other half comes from being allowed to have it. And then she signs her letter with, the largest butterfly in the world is in New Guinea and has a wingspan of about 12 inches. Signed, Irvin and Nettie. From Mora, Minnesota on April 27th, this is a buggy got attacked. Let's see. Perry, Rebecca, and 2 children were driving on Plum Street, where it goes through the ponds on both sides of the road. There were some geese in the water that seemed quite aggressive about the buggy disturbing their day. One of hissing and flew up and apparently attacking the buggy and struck the top corner. Thankfully, it did not come into the buggy. Signed, Robert B. Wow, that would be scary. From Millersburg, Ohio, dated May 5th. Let's see, their story is, she's talking to us about birds in this one. I felt privileged to see the black and white warbler on our pine tree flitting from branch to branch. The Carolina wrens are training their young ones to fly, scurrying around in Delbert's small workshop where they are nesting. What a noisy bunch. The bluebirds are busy feeding their young. Now the hummingbirds have arrived along with the orioles, both species, gobbling down their jelly. What a sweet tooth they must have. It's an enjoyable time when the birds return and fill the air with their songs. The house wren is busy building a nest in our front porch. Enjoy. Signed, Mrs. Delbert Erb. And this story is from Berlin, Ohio, dated on May 8th. And let me see where okay, it's at the top here. Nelson and Austin hooked up the church bench wagon to the tractor and headed a half a mile to the schoolhouse where they needed the benches for the school picnic. It ended much differently than they had expected. A young man came flying over the hill with his little car and crashed right into the bench wagon. Wham! Things happened so fast. Somehow the wagon ended in the ditch with topside down, trays and etc. scattered all across the road. Thankfully, no one was hurt, though the car and the bench wagon are beyond repair. The boy's mama came in on scene and very upset in the whole situation. She ranted and raved. My mother heart was shocked. How easily her son could have been in a casket facing eternity, and instead of tears of joy for sparing her son, she was angry. So the Amish think of things just a little bit differently than us Englishers do. So, but praise her, and I'm glad that everybody was safe. Everybody have a great week.